Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another beginner's guide to Black Desert Online. In this video we're going to be going over the classes, how they differ, what you should play, and just kind of what to expect when picking your class. Now if you guys are here, then that means you probably either haven't played the class or you have and you're just looking for a little extra help on what to do or what to be expecting for them. Don't worry, I'm going to try to explain everything as newbie friendly to the game as I can, and kind of beginner friendly, because that's what these are all about. So if you are still looking for a class in Black Desert, I'm going to tell you right off the bat that they are gender locked. So if you were looking at something like the Dark Knight, it looks really cool, you want to play as a Dark Knight but you don't want to be a female, well, I'm sorry, there's nothing you can do about it. They are gender locked, so all Dark Knights are going to be females. Now you can play around with the character creation and make them look like guys as best you can, especially if you're really good at it, because this, as we'll go over in a future video, the character creation is very deep and very in-depth, but yeah, everything's gender locked. But they do, however, have some classes excuse me, that have a opposite gender kind of secondary, or not secondary class, but an opposite gender class of this one. So those would be like the Warrior and then the Valkyrie. That's like the gender swap of the two. They both start off using a sword and shield, but they kind of do a little different things, and you'll see the same thing with like the Kunoichi and the Ninja. They both have similar, moves, weapons, and attacks, but at the end of the day, they are different classes. You also have the Musa and the Meiwa, the Striker and the Mystic, the Witch and the Wizard. So if you're looking for one, just play the other, or if you don't care about the gender, then hey, just play whatever you want. So now that that's out of the way, I think the most important thing when picking your class is, at least for me, is it cool? Like, are you not the type of person who likes playing a sword and board warrior? If not, then don't play it. That's just all there is to it. Play what you think is going to be cool, which is going to be fun, and you can kind of get a good idea of what each one of these classes does by taking a view at this window right down here in the bottom right hand corner. They will be showing you the type of attacks, the type of movement that the character will be doing, and just kind of how they will be going about mobbing or doing PvE content. They don't really show you what they do in PvP, because that's just a whole nother element and aspect of the game that you just kind of have to pick up and learn as you're playing it. But going back to the character selection, not only do you want to pick out what was fun, but you also want to kind of know and understand that there are going to be two main kind of weapons that you're using in this game. Everybody gets a main hand weapon, an offhand weapon, which is just another kind of boost to your stats. It doesn't really change how you use your weapon at all. But then you also get your awakening weapon. So with the Warrior, they have a standard longsword, shield, they do the sword and board kind of dance. They have big sweeping cleaving strikes. They have, like pound the ground and charge forward slowly with your shield in front of you, taking very little damage with their block. But then, once you hit level 56, you're going to take part of a quest that's going to give you your awakening weapon. And your awakening weapon is going to drastically change kind of how your character plays, especially with the weapons that they have. As you see here in this video, there is no sword and board. They just kind of drop the long sword, go straight to this Cloud Strife Buster Sword looking thing, and they are just swinging away, doing massive damage, big AoEs, and your awakening weapon's really going to be where all of your big man damage comes from. So you kind of want to take a look at that as well. The next thing that I would really recommend is that you take a look at this graph. This graph is pretty self-explanatory. It just shows you what type of character you're going to be playing. Obviously with the Warrior being that it's going to have the shield and the longsword, very high defense, but also here you have very high combos, meaning you're going to be using your skills rapidly in succession, and very little evasion, decent attack, and kind of okay maybe control. Basically just meaning that you're not going to do a ton of damage and you're not going to stun a ton of mobs, but your defense is going to be so high and your combos are going to be so good that it should make up for it. A lot of people ask what class is good, what class is the best. Now, if you're doing certain things, there are certain classes that do excel, but pretty much every class in this game is viable. I think more of gearing is what comes down to being quote-unquote good in Black Desert. But as long as you're having fun, I think that's the main aspect of any video game. So I don't really like to have tier lists. I don't really like to have people tell me, oh, no, you can't play this. Why are you playing this? It's because it's fun, you know. And I think everybody should kind of stick to that. So I would go through, I would look at all the differences in what the classes do. I would take a look at both their main weapon and their awakening, because again, they change drastically. Obviously, the ranger, she has a bow and arrow. She's at range. She is shooting things. She's very high evasion, almost no defense, a little bit more control, and much higher attack, but shorter combos. And then you take a look at her awakening. This is going to stay the same, but if you take a look at the video, she gets these two little short swords. She's dashing around. She goes from being a ranged character to being a melee character, which is a huge kind of, I don't know, knock for some people. I know a lot of people in my chat have aired their grievances about the ranger going from being a bow and arrow user to a short sword user, but that's kind of how it changes. I think the biggest difference that you will notice as far as the graph goes and how characters play is definitely when you go to classes like the Kunoichi and the Ninja, where if you see here, they are all about control. They're all about CCing and stunning and having the enemy be, you know, either you're stealthed out and the fight is always on your terms, but they're also very combo heavy. So it's not going to be like one-hit kills. You're going to have to hit the enemy and then know exactly what to do next to maximize your damage. Also very high evasion and very high attack, but almost no defense. Pretty much, if you've played an MMO or if you've played a game, we call these glass cannons. Kunoichi and Ninja are definitely those two types of things. And they also have very different skills once they awaken. The Ninja, I've played one to 56. And he's very fast. He has a lot of rapid slashes, as you can see here, just stabby, stabby, stabby. And then you get to the awakened weapon, and to me, it plays a little bit slower. You get these 6 katana that you were using in different stances and different forms, and it just plays very differently. And you know, I would suggest to play every class to 56 and get its awakening. And if you really don't like it, then you know, move on to the next one. It's not so much of the time sink anymore because it's pretty easy to level, especially if you do it when there's double XP over the weekend. But yeah, I would just take a look at a couple of things. One, do you want to be a guy or a girl? If you don't care, then pick whatever class that you want. Two, you know, do you want to be the sword and board? Do you want to be the caster? Do you want to be the, you know, the stealth class? Do you want to be the kind of the AoE class? You know, just kind of find something that suits your play style. Even if you have to make multiple characters, that's fine. But yeah, just find something that suits you and then go forth and just play it. Go out into the world, level up, and just see like, oh, well, I don't really like this. I don't like being a Musa. I would rather be the Dark Knight. Dark Knight's my favorite class. I will recommend to everybody. It's a lot of fun. But again, you also want to know, maybe you'll dislike it up to level 56, and then once you get your awakening, it just becomes this huge epiphany for you, and you're like, oh my god, this class is so much fun, you know. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. So go forth and make your characters and play them and enjoy, and I will see you in game.